Hey, we're here with the Sheepdogs. Thanks so much, guys, for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Learn and Burn has been out for a while now, and it just seems like there seems to be this thing bubbling up with you guys. What do you got to say? Like it's
a slow moving process. We're
slow burn.
We're like tectonic plates. We just slowly, but with great impact. That's the worst analogy I've ever heard. Just came to mind.
Even Jimmy Fallon's onto you guys, right? There's this whole thing with the cover of the Rolling Stone magazine. Can you tell us a bit about what that's all about?
Yeah, we were chosen by Rolling Stone magazine as one of the top 16 unsigned bands in North America, and we're the only Canadian band. So it's a pretty big honor, and the winner gets to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. And
people can go to your website, thesheepdogs.com, right? And,
sure.
And log in and figure out how to vote for you guys.
It's actually really easy. You just go, and right on our website, there's a thing where you can click the 5 stars to vote
widget.
us. Yeah.
Widget.
And then, on rollingstone.com/choose the cover as well. You can go and listen to songs and vote for bands there, too.
You guys are from Saskatoon, which is a small city in the middle of nowhere, really. How important is social media to a band like you guys and people knowing about your sound? Do you think that the Jimmy Fallon thing would have happened probably if it weren't for social media?
Well, I think part of our being included in this competition has to do with our traveling and meeting people here, and then having people submit us. But definitely social media is invaluable in pretty much every realm.
Right.
Like it's allowing us to connect to people. Getting Facebook friends from people in the States, or like people from like Barcelona tweeting at us. Like it's great because he's like, donde español, hippies, long hair, rock and roll, like all this kind of like Spanish stuff, and then you just can like make out like Sheepdog or whatever in there. So.
I was just joking around about the hippie thing, but you guys obviously wear your influences on your sleeves. Of those bands from the 60s and early 70s, what are some of the bands that you guys listen to that influence the music that you make?
Well, we bow down to the greats like Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin, Creedence, Kinks, Allman Brothers, even stuff like Sly and the Family Stone, or lesser known bands like Free or Humble Pie. Basically anything sort of from like I don't want to tie it to one era, but mostly the late 60s, early 70s, stuff that was really groovy and had good soul and grit and good melody, harmony, things like The Band.
I think that's what sets you probably apart from other bands who are trying to do this thing is the 3-part harmonies and the fact that you're all involved in for the most part in singing these songs, right? Is that something that you think about consciously when you're writing these songs, that you're gonna do the harmonies and the melodies and stuff?
Definitely, because I grew up listening to the band Chicago. Yeah. It's really embarrassing, but their early records are awesome.
Right, not you're the inspiration.
No, I'm not Peter Cetera, but like the early stuff, lots of harmonies, like the Beatles, and like we said, the Band, and like Crosby, Stills and Nash. Like it just sounds great when people sing together. It's
more interesting too to hear many different voices singing the same thing.
And it just sounds like, we can get all talk about it's like soulful and connected to like the church and singing spirituals and stuff, but it just feels good to sing together and hear people sing to in harmony. Just it's great.
You guys are all on the road a ton, and a young band like you guys have to be on the road a ton. Is Saskatoon still home though? Is that where you lay your boots at night?
Lay our eggs and
lay
our heads down to sleep.
Yeah.
Yep, you bet. We still live there, and we all.
Well, you did, but we now have own your home.
Yeah,
still make top floor.
We have to. We still work jobs and stuff, to make ends meet. We haven't quite made that full transition to rock band only, but we're getting there.
When you guys are on the cover of the Rolling Stone and win that thing, then maybe you can quit your day jobs.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell my boss to shove it.
Do you want to?
Actually, he's a really nice guy. I feel bad I never said that.
What's with the van?
We've been having nothing but troubles with our van. Because we have to drive around so much, we put a lot of kilometers on our van. This is our 3rd van now. And on the way we drove straight from Saskatoon to Toronto, 40 hours. It normally takes about 32, but our transmission is kind of going, or we're thinking it's a transmission, and at some points we were literally driving 30 kilometers an hour along the highway. So
people are like flying past.
Just
have the hazards on, and
it took us
for the best.
Took us 2 weeks to drive out here.
Yeah, no, settlers traveling across there. We're used to it. It's just have to kind of roll with the punches and stuff. But yeah, even coming here, we had to get our van out of the shop. It was like, still kind of taken apart, and we kind of drove it over here.
But that's $20 cash.
That's rock and roll, right?
That's touring in Canada. Like if you're a touring band from Canada, you're automatically tough in my books because 8 hours between cities, sometimes more. Like it's a tough geographical place to cover.
You're playing Canadian Music Week next week, and then you're on the road all the time. And then after that, you're heading down to. You're not driving the van down to Austin,
we're
right?
flying. Yeah. Thank God.
And then what's after South by Southwest? You guys recording it all, or?
Well, if we get into the second round of the Rolling Stone thing, we actually get to go to New York and do some recording. We kind of are forever working on new music and looking to record relatively soon, depending on what kind of goes on with this whole thing.
Do you guys write all the music together, or is it something that you do at the back of the van, or?
Yeah, I usually will come up with the ideas and then bring it to the band, and then it's various stages of completion, and then we'll flesh it out. And sometimes it becomes something completely different, and other times it's much as I had envisioned it already, and it's good. It's been working pretty well. We've good collaboration so far.
Another big part of that too is we always take our new songs on the road and play them and let them kind of evolve from stage, which is I think something a lot of bands don't do. Is we're not shy to present like new songs. For the longest time we just kind of allow it to evolve, and then the song completely can change from the beginning when we started playing them to what they are when we record them.
Improvisation is good too. Like I don't want to make it sound like we're jazz musicians, but like like to leave it opens for, I don't know, sometimes just things happen when you're playing live, and it's you just kind of like, wow, I never would have thought of that if I was just sitting down and looking at it sort of critically, just let it happen.
There are parts in your music on Learn and Burn that are obvious for jams that songs can breathe. Do they breathe a lot larger on stage? Like, do you let them do that?
Yeah, we do, but we don't get out of control. Like we obviously love guitar jams, but we like it to be tasty, and it doesn't need to be 25 minutes long.
Right.
It's we'll leave that to the Allman Brothers and Pink Floyd and stuff. But like we do like to stretch it out sometimes, but we always I think keep it tasteful, and we don't want to see people kind of getting bored of just endless noodlings and stuff like that.
Some of us like that though. Anyway.
Well, you gotta be really good. So maybe we're not quite as good enough to pull it off.
Getting close, I would say. The people that are watch you perform would say that you guys are pretty good. I know there's no bigger fan of you than you. But
that's right.
Thanks so much for taking the time, guys. Continued success, and then let's get that Rolling Stone cover.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Explore Music wears English Laundry apparel.